powerful was he didn't just check in with me. He would call me and say, hey, I told you about this business $500,000 ago. Are you open yet to just take 5 minutes and look at it? Then he would call back another 2 months later. Hey, I told you about this opportunity $1 million ago. Are you open to take 5 minutes to take a look yet?
What was the number? What was the number before you said okay?
No, it was my number.
Right.
My number was going to the bank, and I'm used to walking into the bank and them rolling out the red carpet saying, Mr. Harris, what can I do for you today? But at this season we were in our business, I would walk into the bank and they would say, Mr. Harris, can you please step into my office so we can talk about how you're going to clear up these negative accounts, right?
Whoa.
So I got tired of that. My number was negative.
Oh, okay.
So because my number stayed negative and I was working 7 days a week, 14 hours a day, I finally said, okay, what do you have? It was about me and my number, not necessarily his.
Right. Okay. What was your number? I still want to know that number. What was your number?
I'll tell you this. At the time, we would do over $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 in gross receipts every week in our salons. Mm-hmm. And every Monday, we were still negative. Couldn't meet payroll.
Oh.
Couldn't pay our leases. Couldn't pay Georgia Power.
Okay.
And that was it. That was it.
Okay.
So when I finally took, and you know what? Once I saw the business model of direct sales, quote unquote network marketing, whatever you want to call it, mm-hmm. It was lights out. I got in. My bank account was negative $63. True story. But it cost $500 to actually get involved with that particular opportunity. So let me ask you a question. Do you think I had the $500?
No, but I know you. You made it happen. What did you do?
Well, let me tell you what I did. I called Georgia Power, and I said, I need another extension because this was my second extension. Mm-hmm. I need another extension. I'll pay you guys 2 more weeks later, and I'll pay it in full, get caught up. But I need it. So I took Georgia Power's money and actually got started in this profession. And
okay.
Best decision that I could have done for myself and my family's future. That's it. Best decision I could ever make.
Best decision.
Yes.
Real quick, let's talk a little bit because that's another thing. It wasn't just you that you had to take care of. Mm-hmm. You had a family.
That's right. Kids. At the time, I just taken in both my parents, Sharon, my wife. Mm-hmm. And, family of 6 under one household, because what I didn't share with you was my father, who was my business partner, mm-hmm. became terminally ill suddenly. Mm. So that was another purpose for me to need another source of income coming in because of that unforeseen circumstance. So it was very dark at that time, very dark. Personally and business-wise. I'm emotionally trying to hold on to our businesses
right.
because my father started them.
Right.
Then he gets sick, and I'm trying to be the hero of the family. Taking care of him and my mother, moved him in my home. And,
right.
And this network marketing thing, I didn't understand it, never done it.
Right.
So it was just completely dark. I was living off of faith, though.
Right.
And that's what I did.
Now, let's speak of that personally about living off of faith. I know people talk about prayer and getting on bended knees, and that's true. You got to do that. Mm-hmm. You got to give thanks because it could have been worse.
Absolutely.
What kept you sane during that time?
God and family. My worship life. I'm very clear that God is graceful, and but you have to be in alignment with His word.
Oh yeah.
But number 2, family. My wife Sharon. Let me tell you something. She was there every day, pushing me on, egging me on. Hey, go get it. You can do it. Don't worry about what's going on. Man, go for it.
You just gave me chill bumps.
Well, it's the truth because remember I told you my checking account was negative $63, but it cost $500
right
to enroll.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I told her, I said, well, we can't do this opportunity because it costs $500. We got to pay Georgia Power. And she said to me, if you are a grown man over the age of 30 years old and you're going to allow Georgia Power and $500 to stop you from fulfilling your destiny, she said, something is not right with your priorities. She said, get started. And that was the blessing for me to take that chance.
Right. I'm going to say this, your better half, even through the midst of all this chaos, told you, I am behind you. I got you.
That's right.
I'm here to support you. Do this.
Yeah, and neglect. She was like, I don't care about Georgia Power. She said, we'll get the lights back on. She said, this is your time. Turn that corner. Control your destiny. My father used to always tell me, control your destiny.
Man.
You know, it's just, I remember a quote that he used to make me recite when I was an adolescent. He used to say, Abraham Lincoln's quote is always stop short. You know, Abraham Lincoln's quote, good things come to those that wait, right? We all know that. But the rest of the quote says good things come to those that wait only after the leftovers of those that hustle. And I never wanted leftovers. So.
Yeah. Wow. That's deep. You know, like I said, we've known each other for years, for decades. And, man, it's amazing for me, just hearing what you had to go through. Let's get back on, back on this networking thing, man. Because I wanted people to hear the true, the rawest. Nothing on this show will be on the show will be candy coated. I mean, this is real life. This is what we're talking about here. So with the network marketing, okay, you got in. Let's. You've never done this before. Right. I mean, as far as the transition and the learning curve, and what happened?
You know, I don't want to turn this into, quotes and all that kind of stuff, but the way I was brought up, I was taught business principles. So when I speak business principles because that's my life, right?
Right.
But I was always taught that if you want to be financially independent, find out what poor middle-class people do and don't do it. And at the same time, I was taught...
I don't mean to cut you off. Say that one more time.
Man, if you want to be financially independent, find out what poor middle-class people do and just don't do it, period. And the other side is if you want to be wealthy, find out what wealthy people do and just do what they do. Find out how they think. Find out how they spend their money in the proper sequence. Find out, how they learn. So with that being said, I went immediately to the leadership of that particular company I was in and said, hey, I want to go to the top. I want to become financially independent, quick, fast, in a hurry. And the first question they asked me is, are you coachable or teachable? So I spent my first 6 months in the industry not making a whole lot of money. I mean, I did get the $500 back,
right.
The first month so I could pay Georgia Power. That was my purpose, right?
Cool. The lights are still on.
Lights are on, okay?
Okay.
Wife is happy.
Cool.
So, but the real deal was I thought it was about selling a product or service. But I really found out it was about mentorship, mindset, philosophy. Thinking how wealthy people think. So I hung around these multimillionaires. I had to deserve that, though,
okay.
By serving. Right. So I was I served, just being around wealthy people taught me how to be successful in this industry. And, took me about a year and a half, but I did 6 figures residually in that particular company and blew my mind. I mean, to some people, that's a lot of money. To some, it's not. But for me, it was just enough to show me that if I were to really take this seriously, I could really make some changes in my life.
Right. In other words, the sky's the limit. You didn't have a ceiling.
Right. No ceiling. And so from that point, Carl, what I started doing was sharing with other people the vision of entrepreneurship, the vision of what being in business for yourself, small, mid-size, or large, the benefits, how it can affect your life. And that was my paradigm from that point forward, that this industry, okay, well, first of all, let me just say network marketing has a bad rap. I don't even like calling it network marketing. You know why? Because it's business. Right. You know, network marketing is just a vehicle of doing business, and we do it through relationships. So, leadership is going to determine whether it's quality or not.
Correct.
You know.
Correct. So let's roll up to just the business part of it. Now, you started network marketing. So far, let's say business relationships. How long have you been in that industry?
I just celebrated 13 years, and I've been full-time 7 years.
Full-time 7 years. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good. Now, as far as being full-time 7 years, to some people out there that may be listening here to the show, you got me started. I've been in several business relationship opportunities. Let's just say, hey, I broke even most of the time, but like you said, it all goes down with the leadership, the service or product that may be presented. But once again, it's still a relationship, and technology is also a big part of it. But definitely the relationship part is because there's a lot of individuals out there that are struggling, and there's opportunity out there for you, but it's all about your mindset. You got to open and think outside the box. Sometimes traditional may not work for you right now, where you're going to have to think about other options other than what's down that yellow brick road the path that everybody takes.
That's a strong point, because I come from traditional business. Traditional business versus small business like network marketing, entrepreneurship. Network marketing is the segue to traditional business if you want to do it, or it could be the fundraiser if you want to do a traditional business. You know, the good thing about Atlanta is, it's the land of milk and honey for entrepreneurs, right? And small business owners, mid-size, whatever. But traditional business is expensive. It's this thing called overhead that really impaired us our last few years in being in business. Overhead. I mean, that's static. Every month, Georgia Power, they're going to collect their money. The lease, or, what it costs to run your operation, employees, et cetera. So you're starting from zero every month trying to chase your expenses. And unfortunately, 85% of all entrepreneurs, traditional businesses, go out of business within their first 3 years. And then the statistics get alarmingly worse from there, whereas network marketing, even though it's a small business, for entrepreneurs, it can, it's unlimited income with very little overhead. I mean, less than $100 a month to be able to earn 6-7 figures off of $100 a month. I mean, listen, my overhead to run my salons, and we had 7 at one time, was $10,000 a month just to stay in business every 30 days. So, we had to chase that $10,000 every month just to get into profit mode. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Let's talk about presently. So what do you have going on now, presently?
Well, fast forward, up to this point, I started 13 years ago. I just, and I had some ebbs and flows, just like in all things. I've made some good money in network marketing, and then I've had some famine years, where, just things just didn't work out for whatever reason. But I was always looking for the next big thing. I was always looking for that thing that was going to take us into the future. And right. I learned, and I'll get to it real quick, but what I learned from my days in being in traditional business was, if you don't keep up with that shift, you're going to get left behind. And that's what happened, is I didn't catch the shift of network marketing before. Network marketing is all about recruiting, right? And I always said it can't be just about that. So I found a company. We're 91 days old today. with the most successful networkers in the world. They're extremely successful, and